and welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Liz, a Disability Policy for All. Today I'm fortunate to be interviewing Senator Chris Murphy. Thank you for joining us, Senator Murphy. You have taken a leadership role in Congress on making schools safe for everyone. We all know students can't learn if they don't feel safe in school. How can we support your effort to keep schools safe?
Well, thank you for this question. This is something I care about deeply because we see a real disproportionate treatment of children with disabilities in our schools. They get suspended and expelled at rates that are much higher than other students. They get physically harmed at rates that are much higher than other students. And we need to recognize that and do something about it. So for my entire career, I've tried to push back against what we call exclusionary discipline. What that means is suspensions and expulsions. If you have some kind of behavior in school, if you're acting out, the school should try to figure out why you were engaged in that behavior instead of just punishing you. And many students that are acting out because of their underlying disability. And many schools just push that kid out of the school with a suspension or an expulsion instead of getting that child the services that they need. So I want schools to identify every child who has a disability or a learning disability or otherwise and get them the help. I also want to make sure that we never allow a school to physically harm a child. Because when we allow for that, it happens most often to students with disabilities. So I have a piece of legislation that would ban the use of corporal punishment, right? That's beating or paddling a student for a misbehavior, because schools that allow for corporal punishment, and there's still schools that literally paddle kids if they behave badly, they tend to be using that practice against kids with disabilities more than other kids. I also have a bill that bans another practice, seclusion, for parents of students with disabilities won't be unfamiliar. Often kids with disabilities, if they are acting out, will be locked in a room by themselves, in a closet by themselves. That is an incredibly dangerous behavior, and I have a bill to ban that practice. I also have that same bill would greatly restrict the ability of teachers or administrators to put their hands on kids. Often there's a practice called restraint, where if a child is acting out, you will tie their hands together or you will push them down onto the ground. Again, it tends to be students with disabilities that teachers don't understand, who tend to be the ones that get pushed around and restrained. So I don't want violence ever to be used against students, and I want us to particularly think about the impact that it has on a student with disabilities. So those pieces of legislation are very important for me. They would help us build more inclusive, more loving school environments.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Murphy, for your time, and I look forward to talking with everyone next month. Have a great month. Bye.
Thanks, Liz.